The music box started playing at night, always after midnight, always the same lullaby, soft, slow, almost gentle, almost kind. Almost Aiko did not own a music box. She was certain of that. Her apartment was small, bare, carefully arranged. Nothing unnecessary, nothing sentimental, nothing from the past. And yet every night the lullaby played from somewhere inside the apartment. At first she searched for it. Closets, drawers, under the bed, behind books, inside cabinets, nothing. But the next night, the song returned, exactly the same, exactly as before. She stopped searching, pretending not to hear. It felt easier, safer, because the melody felt familiar, not learned, remembered, and remembering frightened her. During the day, life was ordinary, predictable, controlled. Eiko worked in a small clothing shop where customers rarely stayed long enough to talk. It suited her. Conversations made her uneasy, especially when people looked at her too carefully. Sometimes customers smiled strangely, like they recognized her. One woman once said softly, "You look just like her." Aiko asked, "Like who?" But the woman only shook her head and left. That night, the lullaby sounded louder, closer, not distant, not hidden. Near, Eiko sat up in bed, listening, heart steady, too steady. The melody drifted from the hallway. She stood slowly, walking barefoot across the floor. Each step careful, measured. The hallway felt longer than usual, shadows stretching where they shouldn't, corners deeper than memory allowed. At the end, a door. It had always been there. Of course it had. This was her apartment. She knew every part of it, and yet she did not remember what lay behind that door. The lullaby played softly on the other side. Her hand touched the knob. Cold metal, unfamiliar shape. The moment it turned, reality slipped. The hallway widened, walls peeling into pale colors, soft shapes emerging, pastel paint, cloud patterns, faded animals dancing across cracked plaster. A nursery, small, quiet, waiting. A wooden crib stood near the wall, white paint chipped and worn, blankets folded neatly inside. The music box rested on a small table, turning slowly, playing endlessly. Aiko stepped closer, drawn without understanding. Inside the crib, nothing, but the blankets moved slightly, like something had just been there. She stepped back quickly, breathing shallow. The lullaby stopped. Silence fell, heavy, occupied. Then a sound, soft, weak, crying, not loud, not desperate, just tired. The kind of crying that comes after hope is gone. Aiko covered her ears, but the sound came from inside, not outside. Fragments surfaced, broken, incomplete. A small apartment, different, messier, warmer. A younger Aiko, walking slowly, carrying something wrapped in cloth. A tiny face, eyes closed, breathing softly. Memory vanished. She stood in the nursery again, shaking cold. The crying continued. Faces appeared in the walls, faint, almost invisible. Strangers, watching, not accusing, not angry, just knowing. "You remember?" one whispered. No, you always say that. Reality cracked further. The nursery layered over darkness. Different versions overlapping. Daytime light, night shadows, empty crib, full crib, empty again. Time folding inward. The crying grew clearer, closer. Another fragment night, rain tapping against windows. The baby crying endlessly, hours passing. No sleep, no rest, no silence. Aiko sitting in a chair, ties hollow, body shaking. Please stop. The crying continued. I can't do this. Still crying, the sound filling every space, every thought, every breath. Then silence, sudden, total, to sudden, her hands wrapped in cloth, holding tightly, too tightly the baby still, too still the fragment shattered. Aiko collapsed beside the crib. No, but truth pressed inward, heavy, permanent. More memories surfaced. Morning light, stillness, panic, doctors, questions, gentle voices. What happened? I don't know. Lie. I fell asleep. Lie. It stopped breathing. Lie. Repeated until it became memory. Until memory became truth. Until truth disappeared. You forgot. The voice came from behind. Aiko turned. A woman stood there, older, tired, eyes empty. Herself or someone she once was. I couldn't live with it. I know the crying returned. Soft, endless. Not outside. Inside, reality fractured completely. Hundreds of nurseries overlapping, hundreds of nights, hundreds of versions of the same moment. Each time, the same exhaustion, the same shaking hands, the same silence after each time forgetting, resetting, surviving. I killed my child, she whispered. The crying softened. I chose to forget. Time slowed. I remember. The nursery became still. No disappearance, no release, no forgiveness. Just quiet. The older version of herself watched silently. You don't deserve peace. I know you. Don't deserve to forget. I know. The figure faded. Returning to memory, the nursery remained. Morning light slowly filled the room. Aiko sat beside the crib, listening to the faint echo of a lullaby. Not comfort, not healing, just memory, endless. And this time she would not pretend the crib was ever empty.